It was my first railfan outing in about 2 months. I had recently upgraded camcorders and was happy to finally be getting back trackside. Driving east towards Pembroke, North Carolina, I was in search of a loaded military train destined for Fort Bragg just outside of Fayetteville. CSX train W830 had originated in the Big Easy about 2 days prior and was coming out of a crew change in Hamlet when I intercepted them in Laurinburg. These are the hogbacks of the old Seaboard airline, but the road power on 830 hardly batted an eye as they screamed through the quiet town. While the BNSF power is cool and all, this is my first time I think I've gone after a train due to what's behind the locomotives. 7 miscellaneous intermodal flats, and then came the heavy equipment. A couple flats of armored bulldozers, followed by about 65 cars of assorted semi-trucks, Humvees, medical transports, and trailers. While most onlookers assume this to be a sign of a looming government occupation, the transport to Fort Bragg is apparently seasonal. This consist originated in Fort Polk, Louisiana on the BNSF and is nothing more than a transfer of equipment to Fort Bragg, presumably for training purposes or possible deployment. It was all really cool to witness, but I think my favorite were the 8 and 10 wheelers. A lot of them had miscellaneous trailers attached, either that or they were loaded up with who knows what type of equipment, or a combination of both. Over 80 cars later, and there was a BNSF DPU. That was cool too. Being my first time along the CSX in North Carolina, I was unaware as to the upcoming road conditions. I had planned to intercept the train at Pembroke, but the stop sign riddled 2-lane roads of the agricultural landscape did not accommodate to my train chasing needs. I thought I was well ahead of 8:30 when I arrived in Parkton to an approaching train. Turned out it was just the southbound Palmetto PO89 service from New York to Savannah. Once 89 had cleared, W830 was quick to continue north. I moved just outside of town, popped the top off my car, and had just enough headroom from the trunk to see over the hedges. Now I know today's chase was all about the cargo, but the trailing engine on W830 was kind of cool, especially on the East Coast in 2020. BNSF 5269 is a C44-9W, one of the many that GE produced throughout the 90s. CSX only ever operated about 50, and those have long since been purged from the roster, so I enjoy seeing these 4,400 horsepower Dash 9s, especially when pulling a train like this. The intermodal containers struck me as a little odd also, as I didn't think these usually traveled with armored equipment. They could be loaded with anything from ammunition to uniforms to spare machine parts. There's just no way of knowing. The details behind these military movements are some of the most closely guarded within the railroad industry. In fact, some military trains even travel with a security detail as to protect the cargo during layovers in yards and whatnot. As I mentioned earlier, however, this is most likely nothing more than a shuttle of equipment from one fort to another. A couple weeks prior, there was an outbound from Fort Bragg loaded with similar cargo, so I can only assume these inbounds are the replacement. As much as I wanted to continue my chase of this special train, I had to get back to Wilmington at some point. Quality over quantity, however, and I was quite content with my afternoon's results. Thanks for railfanning with me today, and don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video.